let's talk about oh, there's some coconut water for my electrolytes. Trying to get my electrolytes up, ain't even straight from the coconut. So this is gonna be my first rant. I have a couple of notes. I'm gonna try not to scream and holler because I'm in a building where the walls are paper thin. But I have a couple of notes. Look over my notes. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So right. Okay. So, I watched the full interview of Cat Williams on the Shay Shay Club, and I want to first start off by saying that he has always been one of my favorite black men, specifically comedians. He's always been one of my favorites. There have been times where his rhetoric or his tone in regards to people who don't fall into what is considered traditional in society. There's been times where his self righteousness and his grandiose behavior has rubbed me the wrong way. And I think that this happens a lot amongst black comedians and black storytellers. We could see this reflection even in Monique because while I love her and I appreciate her, this this need to get people together about wearing bonnets and wearing pajamas and and it's like y'all calling out people for being step it fetch it. Y'all calling out people for that, but you're still policing people. So it's like you and her have that in common. Y'all call people out while at the same time there's some hypocrisy because you're kind of condemning, but at the same time, you're wanting to be treated fairly. You're wanting to be given the space to be celebrated and respected, but it's like you're still kind of picking, at people like, and that's the part that kind of rubs me wrong about um a lot of these older comedians. A lot of the older comedians who are out there. Um, but like I said, overall, I love Cat Williams. I think that his growth, I think I've watched him grow over the years, and I appreciate him. But I just feel like black people in comedy, we have like this, like when for me, when we get into this whole selling your soul thing, okay, being in the industry, when you go into the industry, you're going into the industry because you're trying to merge with mainstream culture. You have something to say that speaks to mainstream culture. This is the only way you're going to pack stadiums. This is the only way you get Netflix deals. This is the only way that you're going to be able to reach the masses at that level because at this point your art has conformed in a way to where it has the power to call people to your way to see what you're talking about to hear your story or your story already aligns with a great proportion of what is being heard and said. And so this is part of being a comedian is speaking a language or speaking to a culture where they are and being able to do that consistently for years. I respect the art of comedy, but I think that you have to really be in love with your voice. And while I do like to hear myself talk, we know that there's countless videos to prove that I like to hear myself talk. Believe it or not, when I'm not on camera, I love silence. I don't sit on the phone and talk all day. I don't chop it up with people all day. I'm selective about who I hold conversation with, and I don't really like. I'm really silent a huge part of the day, and so when I start to talk, it seems like I have a lot to say because I've been listening a lot and taking a lot in, and doing comedy shows, going from state to state, having to talk that much, like being on the road and going to all these different clubs, like you gotta talk a lot, and so having to talk that much, I could see how one's ego could get inflated. You gotta talk for your food. You gotta talk to get people. This need for comedy, I think, oftentimes develops out of, like, when animals are in nature, you have to have a way to protect yourself. And I would think that comedy would be a good way to protect yourself. Like, if you could make somebody laugh, if people think you cool because you funny, then this could help you. And so we could see how somebody like a Cat Williams or somebody like a Kevin Hart would have adopted comedy storytelling, humorous storytelling as a way to be accepted, as a way to be a part of the in crowd. If you follow where I'm going, so I get it. But for me, I think a lot of comedians don't have the adequate balance. They don't. A lot of comedians help to hold us in this reality that is harmful to so many of us because they're trying to eat. Comedians are some of the most vicious gatekeepers out there, if we're going to be honest, because they have the power to make fun of ignorance. They can make you laugh at your own ignorance. And when you make someone laugh at their ignorance, you can make them comfortable in their ignorance. And so we have a lot of comedians out there who are making people comfortable in their ignorance. And I'm not gonna lie, I'll sit up here and laugh because I thought what Dave Chappelle said was funny. I was one who laughed at what he was saying. But at the end of the day, I'm conscious enough to still continue to have conversations on my own platforms to expand awareness and not just listen to what Dave Chappelle said and laugh and then be done with it. You know what I'm saying? Um, I want to speak to this culture of selling your soul, through selling your manhood. Because Cat Williams, okay, that's good for you that you never you never wore a dress. First of all, you don't have to wear a dress for us to look at you and see your foremothers. When you was doing your pimp phase, when you was giving us the pimp, we were still seeing some androgyny. So you ain't never really needed to put a dress on. You had a perm. Come on now. So come on somebody. You had a whole perm. Um, but it's okay. So for me, and I'm trying to be thoughtful when I say these things, when you condemn someone else for what they did, it's like almost like you trying to say you're better than them. And I'm trying to understand where this whole idea come from of selling your soul, because if you do this, if you sign this contract, if the Illuminati is real and you can join the Illuminati and you could sell your soul, if that's possible, are people really doing something that they don't want to do? Like, if if Diddy is guilty of everything that they say Diddy is, not saying that Diddy has the right to beat and abuse people, but I know a lot of these people know what Diddy was given. If y'all in Hollywood and word of mouth is traveling around and you're going into spaces and places with this person, knowing from word of mouth, knowing from rumors what this person is capable of. Are you really that innocent? If you've heard the rumors, if you've heard what was going on, you know what was going on. You've heard through word of mouth what goes on at the parties. You know what he into and you know what he like, and he comes at you and he like before y'all went to these parties, y'all already knew what it was giving. Before y'all hung out with him, you mean to tell me you were just hanging out with somebody and you didn't do any type of research on them, but you're this intelligent, you're this smart, you know all of this, but you had to literally hang around this person before you found out what they was off into. You had no clue. You had heard nothing. You were not prepared. You were not aware. You were clueless. It just you were just blindsided. So a lot of y'all already know, and y'all go into these spaces, and then y'all try to play the victim like y'all being forced and y'all selling your soul. No, if that was the case, if you could sell your soul from being penetrated in your ass and being born with a penis, child, then my soul would have been gone. And I personally, and this is not me being cocky or egotistical, I think that I have never seen or been around a person who is as spiritual as I am. Not religious, not self righteous, but spiritual. A lot of y'all pretend to be spiritual for the cameras, but you're really not. You say you are, but you don't live it. Like, if, and I've said this before on my platform, if the creator doesn't have a gender, and if the creator doesn't have a sex, how is holding on to the values associated with your penis or your pussy, how does that make you superior to everybody else if our goal is to be like a being that doesn't have a gender or a sex? If our goal is to impress or worship or honor a being that does not have a gender or a sex, how is your self-righteousness and your entitlement over holding on to the values associated with your genitalia, how does that make you superior to someone else if your goal is to be like an entity that does not have either a gender or a sex? Make it make sense, because the math isn't mathing. Some of y'all lying. Somebody lying. And so while I respect Katt Williams for having a focus, something that he wants to do with his life, if your greatest claim to fame is that you never got jugged in your booty hole, if your greatest claim to fame is that you never wore a dress but you did wear a perm for years, and from what I hear about dresses, they let your nuts breathe so you can make plenty of babies. You know, males been wearing legless garments. So, you know, hey, but a perm tear your hair up, putting that lie on your scalp. And you did that for a hot minute. So, you know, there are people who could judge you for wearing a perm the same way you could judge people for putting on a dress. Like, if that's what it is for you, that's what it is for you. But I think, and this is no tea, no shade, I think that's a little man complex with you. I think that's a little bit of that Napoleonic complex. You have to grandiose yourself and make yourself look like an alpha because you're not a big statuesque man. You're not a tall buff man. Like when we think of the idea of masculinity, we don't think of you. And so, in order for yourself to feel like this big entity, which you are. Like, Kat, you are extremely intelligent. You are attractive. You are funny. You have all these things going for yourself. And I don't feel like you have to um, condemn other men or condemn other people who identify with that construct in order to make, if they are in Hollywood getting fucked in their ass and doing all of that. In America, that's what this nation was founded on the backs of ancestors who were treated like cargo and ancestors who were stomped out on their own land. It was a collaborative effort between Uncle Toms and immigrants. Because it was Uncle Tom's already here. It was Uncle Tom's coming over on those boats. And it was immigrants who came from Europe, and they all came together and created this he-man patriarchal culture, and it was a collaboration. And the Caucasian man was the avatar, the mascot. But behind the scenes, it was a collaborative effort from men who wanted to be able to have this control. And so you had traders amongst the Indians. You had sellouts amongst the Indians, or should I say sell-ins, because they sold into this culture. You had sellouts amongst the men. You had sellouts that was coming over on them slave ships that wanted an opportunity outside of Africa. See, we're not going to tell this. We're going to say all of them that came over with slaves. But not all of them Africans that came over to America came over to be slaves. Some of them came over to buy into what this is. They came over here for this, and it was a collaboration, and y'all made the Caucasian man, the fall guy, the focal point, and the mascot. But we know it was some handshaking going on behind the scene. And from the beginning, that's what it's always been. Y'all go off and be on the battlefield for a long time, and y'all start looking wantingly into each other's eyes, and y'all start having brotherhood. Brother, let me put this thing up under the hood. And that's why a lot of y'all don't like beings like me. Cause I can remember when I was little, they said, "Oh, you became a woman. I became a woman so I could get a man." No, you've heard that story from other girls on the internet. We've heard other girls say this. Very popular girls have said that they became feminine so they could get the kind of men they wanted. That's not my narrative. That's not why I became feminine. I didn't want someone to be able to try to call me, "Oh, this is my homeboy, this is my brother." No, bitch. No. You saw the mother in me. You saw my foremothers. That's why you like me. That's why you're attracted to me. And I wanted to make sure everybody saw what you could see. See, you saw it before I got the titties. You saw it before I went and got my hips done. You saw it before I went and got the pussy. You knew what it was. You knew what time it was. And I wanted to make sure everybody else knew too. This is not brotherhood. This is not brotherhood. This is not patriarchy. This has never been. So what? I sold some ass. I sold some dick. I sold some mouth that sold a little pussy. Even sold some crack and some cocaine. It's beyond the line for y'all to try to bring up charges. I look at what's going on in the Caucasian community, and Meg Thee Stallion just starred in a musical called Dicks. And I don't know if y'all remember I'm a Cheerleader, but these are comedic movies where Caucasian people are saying the most outlandish, unheard of things. Like, if you saw I'm a Cheerleader back in the day, you know I'm a Cheerleader was risque, and it confronted a lot of uncomfortable situations for its times. And Dicks, this play that just came out, it's even I mean, the stories that Caucasian people are telling, and y'all try to make it look like they're attacking black masculinity, and they're attacking and they're trying to feminize the black men. It's not an attack, it's their culture. And if you want to make their money, if you want to have access to their audience, if you want to have access to being crossover, if that's what you want, then if they're doing it to themselves, why would you expect to pass? If that's not what you want, then stay in your lane, stay in your culture, stay within that budget. But don't ask to sit at their table and then get mad when they put in a contract they want you to wear a dress. They want you to wear a wig. They want you to do this and you want to call it debauchery and stuff, but you want to sit at their table though. This is why I have mixed mixed emotions about the Taraja P. Henson situation. While I sympathize with her, and I sympathize, and y'all know I sympathized with Monique. But the grass isn't always green on the other side, is it, sis? You wanted that crossover audience because you thought you was gonna get them crossover coins, but the coins wasn't coining because they want you at the table. But if through business and business in America, we are again, we know what's at the root of how business works here. If they can get over on you, if they can make a slave out of you, if they can eradicate you, if they can erase you, if they can control your narrative, what in history has ever made you think that they wouldn't? What in his story has ever made you think that they wouldn't? And so when I see people whining and crying and getting emotional in front of cameras because the math ain't mathing, you got the crossover white audience, um, you got the crossover exposure, but you ain't got them crossover coins, and it's because we we were so eager to sit at their table, we didn't realize that we're sitting at the table, but we're not sitting at the table as the main course. See, when we're a part of their stories, you're not the main course. You're the appetizer. You might even be dessert, but you are not the sustenance. You're not the main course. So why are you supposed to get that main coin? See, they're going to always be the main course in their stories. And what do you pay more for? If I got a three-course meal, what am I going to spend the most money on? Am I going to spend the most money on the appetizer? Am I going to spend the most money on the dessert? Or am I going to spend the most money on the main course? So it doesn't matter if you're on the menu. It doesn't matter if you're a part of the meal. Are you the main course? See? And you ain't even, sometimes the dessert don't even get ate. Sometimes you don't even order that shit. Period. So for me, I just feel like this is a huge distraction. I was talking about the electoral college vote again today. And you know the electoral college vote is a it's a few people being selected to come and elect the president of the United States. And we so focused, they tell us, focus on local government, focus on local government. Meanwhile, federal still trumping state. So we need to get our house in order. And so I feel like Cat Williams, you're a distraction too. You steady calling out people about sexuality. Like y'all still having a conversation about sexuality and who fucking who and who wearing dresses. Like we literally live in a nation where people that people we don't even know are coming together and electing the president of the United States. That is our house. As Americans, that's our house. And we are not selecting who goes in that house. And instead of us focusing on the things that are gonna bring change, we want to talk about who doing who for an extra dollar behind the scenes. Who putting on a dress. And I don't care about who wearing a dress. I don't care about who getting their cakes dug out. I don't care. To me, that's not selling your soul. You sold some ass. Now, if you continue to be silent and not talk about what you supposed to be talking about, like to me, Kat, you was promoting your tour like I'm about to promote my book. But if that's what it is, say that's what it is. Don't try to act like and then the internet eating it up like it was just so integrable, like it was just so much honor in it, like he was standing on business. Like we don't know what you've done in private. And we know receipts come out on people every day who said they ain't did nothing. Receipts come out all the time. So we don't know what we gonna find out on you down the road. Now I have heard good things about you. You know, like when I was watching the little Boosie say that you he said that you gave him 15,000 one time when he came home from jail, and you ain't even know him from a can of paint, and you invited him to your concert to sit front row, and you gave him 15,000. And I respect you for that. I respect you for being that type of dude. But I don't go off over none of you comedians, because to be clear, some of the funniest people I know the world have not met. See, my daughter Pernisha, if you ever got to know her, oh my goodness, my daughter's so funny. I even have my moments where I could crack you up and make you laugh. None of y'all don't make me laugh like that because your jokes is designed to keep us closed minded. It's designed to keep us ignorant. It's designed to keep us simple. A lot of y'all jokes. I love Monique, and I'm glad for her having her little moment. You know what I'm saying? But her stories, like we gotta, she pushed the envelope though. Out of all of the comedians out, I think that Monique, with the old school comedians, I think that she's the most authentic. I have issues with her, that whole bonnet and telling people how to dress thing, that bothered me. But aside, and saying daddy and calling that man daddy all the time, that kind of irks me because I don't hear him say mama enough. I need to hear him say mama more. Earthquake, I don't care for him at all. I don't really care for D.L. Hughley at all. Um, I think Wanda Sykes is funny. I think Tiffany Haddish is funny. Contrary to popular belief, I love Samoa. I'm not gonna miss nothing she put out. But out of everybody that I name, their content is still. Now, Eddie Murphy, he did something conscious when he put out, his little story that he put out earlier this year, where he was, where it was tackling Muslim and Jewish issues. I think, he pushed the envelope a little with that one. And I respect him as an artist. Whoopi Goldberg used to be really funny. But she haven't done, comedy to that magnitude in a long time. But a lot of these stand-up comedians, child, they ain't really got no hard work to do. The machine is around here dumbing everybody down. It's like comedy doesn't even have to be about intellect anymore. It could be just about antagonizing and making fun of people that are not really as valued, or people that's not supported. We live in a slave-minded culture. We live in a pick-me culture. The industry as a whole pick me. Hollywood is pick me. The new name for Hollywood should be Pick Me Wood. Because everybody out there is pick me's. And they want to be picked to entertain and to distract us from what's going on in the politics and us from what's going on in the government. Because in them whole 3 hours, he damn near talked for 3 hours. What did he say about politics? He sat up there and told other black men down, and that's what you did for damn near 3 hours. But you're not a part of the problem though, cause you didn't want no dress and got fucked in your ass. You're not a part of the problem simply because of that. Sure, sure. Let's go with that. No. So for me, it was like again, Cat Williams to me out of the male comedians, next to Dave Chappelle. I think him and Dave Chappelle. I don't know. I think I laugh at more of Dave Chappelle jokes. When I was younger, it used to be Cat. You know, when I was in my 30s, it used to be Cat all day. I loved Cat Williams, but in my 40s, I'm more. I feel more closely connected to Dave's line of comedy because at least Dave creates a conversation where we are forced to wrestle with issues that we at least he bring it to mainstream. Like he may say some ignorant stuff out his mouth or he may not frame it in the proper way, but at least he creates a platform for us to have conversations that allow the space for us to heal. Because you can't heal what you don't reveal. And so at least Dave Chappelle is willing to reveal his ignorance. He's willing to reveal where his thought process is so that it can be challenged. And in challenging his thought process, we can challenge a lot of these other thought processes that have just been, trying to keep their head down and push through, but all the while still thinking the same way. So I appreciate Dave for being willing to be vulnerable and say this fuck shit publicly. But a lot of y'all, you sit up and you do your little lowbrow shots because every time you make a comment about you maintaining your virgin booty hole and not wearing a dress, what you really doing is taking shots at trans people. What you really doing is taking shots at gay people instead of making it about the fact that they're not living in their truth. Because what would you say if they was living in their truth? What would you say if it was true about Diddy and Diddy opened up and he talked about it publicly? What would you say about Tyler Perry if it was true and Tyler Perry opened up and talked about it publicly? All of the men that you're accusing of doing those things, what if they came out and openly said, this is what I like, this is what I've done from time to time, this is what it gives, I'm bisexual, I'm pansexual, I'm gender fluid. What if they came out and said all this, then what would y'all say then? What would be the conversation then? What would that look like? Because the reason why you're allowed to make fun of them is because a lot of them are hiding behind some woman's skirt. They all baby's kids, adopted kids. Yes, I meant to say baby's kids. They not children. Shading your fans. Yeah, I love the authentic piece you are wearing. Let's acknowledge that too. Okay, you see, I got my art on, and it's back here too. Like, let me cut the light on so you can see back here. You see what I got? I got my little pieces back here. So this is the royal vagina. Come on, crowned vagina. You remember that one? And this is dilation. This is keeping that keeping that zero open, them Yanni gates open, using that cock energy to keep them gates open. See, we gotta use that cock energy. See, we gotta get control of that. Get control of that cock energy. We gotta straddle that cock energy. Let me stop. And then this one is called healing by sound. And so these are a bunch of purple beings who are sending, creating healing sounds and sending them to each other. So they're gathered together and they're healing each other. And you can see them just giving each other like these little waves of sound, like these purple beings giving each other these waves of sound. And so we are honoring, this art honors all kinds of beings, whether you were born with the womb or you went through a process in order to make an opening there, in order to create an opening. And this honors the first womb that pushed out all of creation, and this honors us collectively gathering to hear each other, and to heal each other through those sound waves. So yeah, I got a couple of my pieces, of today, and I'm wearing Cosmic Balance. This is another design, Cosmic Balance. Yeah, Manda, you saw that, huh? I can't wait to work with you. I can't wait to come out there and work with you. But yeah, that's the thing that got me with the whole Cat Williams thing. Um, you know, um, what's that? Yeah, it's like, and we keep having these silo conversations, right? Like we having these conversations where we are not um listening to other parts of the community. And unfortunately, we don't even have adequate representation, because a lot of the trans people that y'all choose to lead the conversations, they just as messed up with this binary thinking as y'all. They literally have created another binary within the binary. And we haven't fixed the first one yet. And you bitches done piggyback the whole nother binary. You bitches, y'all done made a binary within the binary, as if the first binary wasn't fucked up already. Not another binary. Not a binary within a binary. I mean, like we haven't wrestled with the toxicity of this one. The whole man woman dynamic, and now you got trans men, trans women, and in order to perform trans womanness according to the binary and trans masculinity according to the binary, there's no way you could do this without subscribing to some of the toxicity of the first binary. I don't even know any examples of um, trans women who are um, performing trans womanness without it looking toxic. This is what I watched the Diamond Styles and Isis King interview. And I love the language that Isis was using. She was talking about her gray area, and she was talking about um, how she loves masculinity, and like listening to her talk about how she exists in that gray area sometimes, and she doesn't mind coming off as masculine or presenting masculine. And there was one point in the interview where I kind of cringed a little bit because Diamond asked her to talk about um, Diamond asked her to talk about inspirations in her life. And she prompted her to speak from both perspectives. Like, she used the word cis, that's the word she used. She used the word cis, so she was like, use cis and trans examples. And this is no shade, but see, when girls do things like that, to me, it's an undermining of your work in this transition, because how can you get to the level of transition that ISIS is? ISIS has had to be in both communities. ISIS has had to exist in heterosexual binary spaces. She's probably existed in non-binary spaces. She's existed in trans spaces. Like, to me, that would be the last being I would feel I need to prompt, about speaking to all of your influences. This is something that heterosexual cis people need. They need to be prompted to acknowledge some gay people, some gay people, some completely like gay people who just like engulfed in gay culture, some trans people who are pre-op and totally engulfed in trans culture. But rarely are you gonna meet a a sex change unless she's a girl that's living in stealth, unless she's a stealth girl. And Isis is not a stealth girl. ISIS is one of the most visible sex changes, black sex changes that we know. So she didn't need to be prompted to give cis and trans inspirations. I think that that would be a normal thing for her. And you could tell by her language that she was already there. Like, she didn't need that prompt. And maybe I missed something. Maybe you were using that language for your audience. But for me, that's another reason why heterosexual people, people who exist for the binary and live for the binary, like Cat Williams and the like. This is another reason why they're continuously able to play in our face, because we have taken the oppressor's language and ran with it. Our community, a lot of us, we haven't done any work for ourselves. We've basically just taken what Massa then gave us and we keep using Massa language. And this is why they feel like, this is why they feel like it's an agenda. This is why a lot of them feel like that. Because when you're explaining who you are and you have to rely on a language that was given to you by people who really have not lived in your experiences, have not lived in your communities, and a lot of us will go on to say, oh, it's code switching. You'll get around black people and you'll talk without using all of them extra words, and then you'll get in front of the camera and you'll get on all of these platforms and you'll use all of this verbiage and this language that came from Massa. And so it's hard to engage in a conversation with you because you sounded like a plant. Now, as far as his commentary on Kevin Hart being a plant, I think there's all kind of plants. When we think of what a plant is, you're being put in a certain position to uphold a certain thing or to continue a certain thing. We could look at you as a plant, Cat, with your big crosses on, your patriarchal beliefs, and how you love to sexualize women. How you visualize them, because you said Megan looked so beautiful that she was able to get them charges reduced. But do you think it was just her looks, or do you think it was her whole aura and her whole presence, or was it just her looks? I prefer women's saliva. I prefer women's, like, that was a sexualization of the woman, and the sexualization of a woman doesn't really look too cute on you if a woman is paying attention, because you ain't about to marry her. You ain't about to give a half. So when you sexualize a woman, it could be viewed as you on some property shit. Like, it's giving real life pimp, the perfect pimp. The perfect pimp. That's what it's giving. It's perfect PIMP. That's what it's giving. Hey, you can't help how much fish you're giving. And you know I'm loving all of you. Oh, thank you, Manda. Yeah, yeah, I just have a different perspective. I was gonna leave this alone because, I like Cat Williams. I do. I honestly do. But I was expecting more from him. Like I watched that interview and I watched the whole 3 hours and he tiptoed around, and he gave Taraja the type of, grapes, like he was jiffing for her to get a bigger coin and I've done the works and I was laughing when he was doing the little slave voice because I be doing that too. And so I just expected more from the interview. I wasn't surprised by any of the accusations because we all know I don't know why it went so viral because this stuff he been saying for years, stuff he been hitting at for years, and it's just like the industry is now finally, you know, I think that's what he was created for. He was created to be the town crier, you know. It's sort of like the red coats are coming. Like that's the energy he give. Like he's the red coats are coming. Like letting all of these men know who was doing all of this stuff for years. Your season is over. You got your coins. You came out good. You came out like a fat rat. Now it's time for you to take the fall. Y'all wanted them. You wanted the big prizes. Now you gotta pay the big price. You wanted to win big. Now you got to pay big. And to me, that's what he gives in this matrix. He gives very much the town crier. He's the herald. He's letting us know that these times are coming. He's letting them know that their time is up. But he's not telling us nothing we ain't already know. There's not no new stuff. Like Cat Williams used to really, really talk about the government, and he used to talk about political things more, and he stopped talking about that, and he started to focus in on, constantly talking about men's sexuality and constantly talking about, the feminization, of them. And it's like, you low key taking shots at wholeness. You low key taking shots at, you know, I think that it's wrong to make a caricature of your mother. So if you putting on a dress to try to make a joke out of it, to try to make fun of it, I think that that's wrong. But I don't think that the exploration of your foremothers, the exploration of that part of yourself, is anything to be shameful about. If you want to try to get some dick in your ass, then go ahead and try it. It's that prostate like to be pounded on. Shit, get you. But don't be ashamed in it. Don't be hiding behind nobody's skirt. Yeah, I love him too. I love him too. And that's why I'm gonna call his ass out, Cause he loved calling people out. So I'm sure he'll understand it. And maybe this video won't even reach him. I don't expect for it to get a lot of views. But I just wanted to rant because I expected more from him. Like now the machine is using him. And what I noticed is um Judge Joe Brown spoke on that. And the woman who, I don't know if she his niece or his granddaughter or what type of dynamic it is, but he does these interviews with this black woman, and they doing the interview together, and she's saying, yeah, cause they saying some real stuff. And Judge Joe Brown said if he would have said that, they would have blocked his platform. But Cat doesn't realize that the same forces he's complaining about, he's now benefiting from them because that platform that's backed by the NFL. They talking about they didn't know what Cat was gonna say. Shit, the NFL is tied in with the government, so we don't mind you coming on here talking about these niggas, but don't come over here and don't talk about that government. Don't come on here and talk about all that Trump and all that type. Don't do all that. because this the big boys, and to them, P Diddy and Kevin Hart and Steve Harvey, them ain't no real players. Them peons. Them ain't no real players. The only one that's got a sickening coin to maybe sit in the D list in their company is probably P Diddy. P Diddy about the only one that could get access to the rooms. The rest of them ain't even going in the room. Steve Harvey ain't sitting in the room with them men who calling the shots, who making that NFL money. And we know why they pick on Tyler Perry, because Tyler Perry got the gay rumor. Tyler Perry not known for doing street shit. So we gonna talk about Tyler Perry, even though Tyler Perry got enough money to touch you and make it look like he ain't have nothing to do with it. Let's be clear. Tyler Perry got enough money to shut one or two people up and make it look like he ain't had nothing to do with it. Why they playing with him? Stop playing with him, Ryan. But most of them not sitting at the tables, you know what I'm saying, that's really calling the shots. So if you over there at the Shay Shay Club, we already know what this is affiliated with. Lord have mercy. And that man on Club Shay Shay, whoever, he is not the most articulate speaker in the world, but that motherfucker is fine. My goodness, that thing, all his legs and ankles. I was looking at him doing that interview. I was like, damn, you old and fine. My goodness. That's a well preserved melanated masculinity right there. That's a spicy meatball. That motherfucker was fine. And I was like, okay, now we see why he's able to get a platform like that, because he asks good questions and he's charismatic, but he's not the most articulate. Like the words wasn't just flowing out, and it wasn't giving that. Like, but you could see why he's sitting on that seat, because that man's fine. And he talking about he had no idea what Katt was gonna talk about. Shit, you told Katt what y'all told Katt what he could talk about and what he couldn't talk about. You ain't finna convince me otherwise. Y'all told Katt what he could talk about and what he couldn't talk about. That was already knowledge, because he stayed away from politics. We didn't hear too much about that. You stayed away from politics. You in line with the patriarch. You might not be a part of that particular cabal, but you a part of the brotherhood. You're a part of it. And I thought it was interesting what he said about Gary Owens, because that really was interesting. So Gary Owens is the white comedian that ain't never crossed over. And I was looking at that. So I went to Gary Owens' podcast, and he only like interviewing or connecting with black comedians. Like, he the only white face on his own platform. And I'm like, why this white boy ain't never crossed over? And it's because it's that same handshaking and back rubbing behind the scenes. Why Gary Owens? Because Gary Owens is funny. But I guess when he came out, he gave too much attention to the black community, and he was the black token. He was the token amongst black elites, and he was making that white token money. And so now, he done been tokenized past his good years. He done been tokenized past his prime. See, he ain't do like Vanilla Ice and jump in that thing and jump out. See, you can't be like the one who was dating a black girl and then ended up with what's her name? The one who's selling out the concerts with Beyonce, the white girl. Taylor Swift. He was with the black girls and now he with Taylor Swift. See, he didn't go past his prime. He had some of his prime left. See, Gary Owens, you went past your prime. Being the white token, and you didn't jump out soon enough. And so now, the white people is like, nah, you gave all your good dick years and all your prime body years to the niggers. You done gave your youth to them niggers. I don't know if we can do nothing for you over here now, Gary. Now go on ahead and be loyal to them niggers, because that's what you've been doing, so. And a sexy major power bottom. Oh, you think at Club Shay Shay, you think he a big old power bottom? Oh, wait a minute. I need some more likes. I need some more people to click like, because I see 5 of y'all on here, but I only got 2 likes. You know the algorithm don't like me. Know the algorithm. I need all the likes I could get. And if you don't like me, pretend like you like me and click that like button. But anyway. No, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if Shay Shay. That wouldn't surprise me. And baby, it might be time to start bringing them on that. It might be time to start bringing them on that because baby, this is the season. So you think he over there? You think when he farted whistle? You think he got a whistling booty, Mata? You think the booty whistling? You don't think that booty whistling, do you? You don't think when he farted whistle, do you, Mata? Shay Shay sounds like a men's only club. It blows like a trumpet. You don't think that booty sang, do you? Oh no, man, not the singing booty. Whistling booty. Whistling Dixie, huh? Well, child, hey, if he bother me, I'll watch. Hell, if he loved me and he told me he loved me, I might, like if he was my husband, I might give him some old head while he was getting pounded out. I would just hope that the cookies would be clean, because I don't need to smell that, while I'm giving head, I'm smelling dookie. I don't want to smell dookie. Them spandex slacks and blouses. Man, don't do that to Club Shay. Oh, he's expressing his wholeness, Mata. Mata, he's expressing his wholeness. I just wish they'll all come clean. Because this is it only happens in the black community. And to me, that's slavery. That's slave-minded. That here it is 2024 and only in the black community do you see the men still making jokes about who getting done in the booty and who not getting done in the booty and still using this as a weapon to try to embarrass. Like, that's that slavery stuff. Like, like if there was a time when buck breaking was happening, I feel like when you tease a man or you make jokes about him getting fucked in his ass, because you know it as a secret and you have some inside tea on it and you using it to hold over his head and stuff like that, like that's kind of like the overseer picking, because I could imagine back in the days when it was happening, there was probably the overseer and the master would be talking and the overseer would be like, so which one of them you think would be easiest to break? Which one of them you think I could probably fuck? And the overseer would be like, old Roscoe over there, old Terry over there look like you might be able to break him off. Master look like you won't put up no fight none. No sir, master, he won't put up no fight. He won't put up no fight none, master. He ain't got no fight in him, master. Yeah, master, he probably offer it up to you if cause he been looking at them steaks that you be cooking for the missus. You be having the missus, them fine steaks, them mighty fine steaks coming in. Them steaks and he the way he been looking at it, I think I give him a old piece of that steak. Give him old steak and some potatoes, then he might offer that thing up to you for a taste of that, cause he been getting starved out of them scraps over there. He about ready to offer it up. And so Massa gone ahead, after he done been selected, you know what I'm saying, and studied by the overseer, Massa gone over there and get him some of them cookies. Then when Massa get him some of them cookies, Massa done mix them cookies. Then here come old overseer. Cause little do we know, overseer cookies probably already been mixed. And them cookies out of date now. Them cookies old news. Them cookies ain't fresh. Them cookies stale now. Them cookies whistling, gaping. Them cookies ain't tight and right. Massa want them fresh cookies. Them cookies where the seal ain't been broke yet. And so after Massa done got them cookies, now the overseer, he done retired his cookies because his cookies old now. That dog ain't hunting no more. You know what I'm saying? Them cookies ain't cooking no more. The cookies ain't cooking no more. So he lining Massa up with different cookies, helping Massa get different new fresh cookies, new booty. And so he the one holding it over, old Roscoe and Terry Head, when they try to move on with their life. Don't think you're slick, cause I know Massa been in your cookies. I know Massa been in your cookies. And I'ma tell your wife, I'ma tell your children, I'ma tell the other nigresses out here on the field that you've been letting Massa play around in your backside. See, that's the part of the story we ain't getting. How this consensual and how this works. How there's a network going on. That's the side of the story we not gonna get from these niggas. These niggas ain't gonna tell us that. These niggas gonna spin the narrative. They gonna tell us the story in a different way. Bitch, Massa was getting them cookies because Massa got your cookies already. You know the dirt because you was Massa first. Massa made you the assistant, the researcher. You got the research to see the cookies that ain't gonna put up too much a fight. Up there on the panel, Katt, Pussycat is the rubber bed. Everybody else that sits on the couch. Up there on the panel, the Katt, Pussycat. Not Katt, Pussycat. As elastic to pop from a hole to back to a straight line. Ooh. 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 See them cookies were dug out long ago.
See, them cookies probably were dug out. See, you got some of them before they even made it to the industry. They were like this. By the time they got to the industry, they got all that out their system. See, see, this is what I know. This how you know this true. They got niggas who will go to jail and won't fuck around in jail, but'll fuck around on the streets. This is a fact. They got niggas that will fuck around on the streets, but will not fuck around in jail. I'm telling you, I know niggas like this because the moment you fuck around in jail, that's where you get that reputation. Then once you get the reputation, that's where your your alphaness or your manhood gets tried because now since we know you fuck around, then let's see how much you fuck around. So see, some of these dudes probably was messing around in the world, but then they get in the industry and they pretend like they don't fuck with it at all because they don't want their alphaness and their masculinity to be tested. So behind the scenes, you probably messing around. Probably not with nobody who count, not with nobody who matter, not with nobody that's gonna put you out there like that, not with nobody that's gonna use it to control you, not with nobody whose environment you susceptible to because you have to understand once you mess with somebody in the industry who got power over you, who's a boss, who making boss moves, now they can use this to control you and to manipulate you because of how the industry is set up to celebrate men who pretend not to be gay or have done any gay shit or any trans attractive shit or any queer shit in general. We celebrate toxic masculinity because toxic masculinity is necessary to maintain patriarchy. You need a specific kind of masculinity to maintain a patriarchal society. You need an extreme masculinity. And once something becomes an extreme, it is then a perversion. And what is a perversion? Something that's toxic. I've said this about myself. My going as far as I went in my transition made me an extreme. But because I am honest about that, I continue to work on being whole in my mind because physically, I've made all the changes I could possibly make to erase the patriarch on my body, but I didn't allow it to be erased in my mind. Now, had I subscribed to the binary and I tried to blend into spaces like I was a biological female and erase my past and not talk about it, then I would be an extreme perversion. There are beings who are binary, cis, heterosexual, all that, who are toxic. And like I said, it takes a certain type of masculinity to maintain patriarchy. You got to be willing to, in some way, shape, or form, reduce women, reduce anything feminine, exalt yourself over it, make yourself more important, make yourself more special, make yourself more powerful in our minds, and subscribe to all of these ideas that make men superior. Now, some men have become very strategic, like Katt was very strategic. He worded himself. He was very careful about his words because he good with words. He was very careful about the words that he used on that platform to be careful not to offend women, but your actions speak louder than words. Where is your queen? You talking about they got the quiet, light-skinned wife that don't say nothing. We ain't never seen a wife say nothing for you. You ain't signed the contract and you ain't even got a quiet wife. You ain't got nothing. Where is the woman? And the thing about the quiet wife is we don't know how long she gonna stay quiet. Cause from what we are hearing, P. Diddy wife was tired of being quiet. And she was taking notes the whole time. So a lot of y'all need to be worried about your quiet wives. Cause she was quiet too. And all of y'all ain't gonna be able to successfully, allegedly, have something to do with the whacking. Cause this is 2024. This year is gonna be that ether. It's gonna be that fire. It's gonna be the year that shows us what's eternal and what's not. Because next year is 2025, and that's Divine Nine, where we gonna walk in our splendor, the splendor that comes from our resilience, from all of the things that we overcame this year. Because this year is the test year. This year is gonna test that eternal and that infiniteness in you. Yes, honey. This year the ancestors is testing that eternal being inside of you. That infiniteness, your knowledge of that. This year is that. And I've been prophesying about it. Hold on. Been talking about it. Been talking about it. Damn. See that's this year. That's this year. That's this year. And then y'all know I got my flower over there. Hold on, let me go get it. Then I created this the first day of the year. And I used a whole bunch of eights to make it. So it's like my version of the eternal flower. But like I used a whole bunch of eights. I actually used 9 rings that I made into eights. And I tied them all together inside of here. So I've been excited about this year. Like I made this at the beginning of the year, but I made this um almost 3 years ago. And I made another one while I was in Africa, while I was in South Africa. That was the first one that I made. I started making them in 2020 because this here, this shit right here, nigga. And here it is.
It's 2024. This gonna be a hell of a year. This gonna be a year. And baby, when 2025 come, that's gonna be that divine nine. That's gonna be that year of resilience and splendor where we gonna be able to just sit in everything that we overcame, all the obstacles that we overcame, all the lies that we saw through, all the quicksand that we avoided, all of the booby traps that we avoided because we was using this. Come on now. Come on now. Come on now. Come on now. Yeah. 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 What name? I had made this for my husband. It's called the Eye of Protection. And it's made out of an oxtail bone. So when I eat bones, we save them. Just like for the meals that we've been eating. Um, I've been saving the bones, you know, and I'm gonna make jewelry out of them. Right now, they're on my altar, and this gonna take, I'm gonna let them sit on the altar for like about 2 months and dry out, and then I'm gonna make I'm gonna make Natasha a necklace. I'm gonna make Empathy a pair of earrings, and I'm gonna make myself another pair of earrings. But yeah, so I think I said everything I wanted to say in this live. I've been on here an hour and 16 minutes. Huh? Okay. So let me do I want to read something from this book? Is it a passage I want to read from the book? No justice in that. I think I want to read something short though, not nothing long. Yeah, I'm gonna read Purple Ones. I'm gonna read that one. Wait. Yeah, Becoming Purple. I'll read that. And so, Becoming Purple, the reason why I love the color purple and the reason why I'm always talking about becoming purple is because um, these two colors, blue and red or blue and pink, as you can see on me, they create purple. And if you mix them together, you could get different shades of purple. So that's about the masculine and the feminine coming back together. Um, well, they're always together, but it's about realizing that they are together and moving from that space of knowingness, that space of consciousness. That's why it's purple around this vagina up here. And if you notice, it's pink and blue in the crown. There's a pink and blue star in the crown, and there's purple stones inside the crown because it's knowingness, and that purple radiates around. And even on this being, there's pink and blue. You can see it present, and you see purple radiate around this aura. And also down here, these beings are purple, and so that's why I always use that language, becoming purple, or talking about purple ones or being a purple person. You heard Natasha talk about being a purple one. That's this knowledge of self. And that knowledge makes you sovereign. It makes you regal. It makes you autonomous because you have been doing the work to celebrate all of yourself. Amen and woman. So when I talk about becoming purple, and when I talk about, and when you always see me doing the pink and blue or the red and blue, it is not a trans agenda. It's me taking control of these things that were given to us, but we have not delved into properly. So I've taken it, even you could see right here. You see the okay, so it's the pink being, the blue being with a pink eye. So it's femininity in the blue being. And then you see a blue eye in the pink being. And then you see them coming together, sort of like they kissing right up in here. And you see the infinity symbol that's coming from them kissing, from them being connected. So as they come together, this purple infinity symbol is created from their union. And so this being, and so now you see this yellow up here, which represents creativity. So now these beings can create this being, excuse me, because it becomes like a Voltron. This being can now create whatever world it wants because it has embraced and accepted its whole self. Amen and woman. So that that's a little purple lesson for you right fast before I get ready to close it. So this is called Becoming Purple. She, her, they were held in contempt, homeless, rejected, institutionalized, colonized, exempt, and ostracized by systems and religions that wanted her, they, them to remain victims. But she, her, they, them would not accept this verdict. So the Spirit sent her, they, them, on a journey to find self. And on that journey, they would find their tribe. Purple ones rise. Rise through service. Rise through sharing a collective thought of hope. Faith in the possibility of evolution. Be the healers, the artists, and the creative beings that you were designed to be. After reading these words, explore the option to live and thrive abundantly and be free. Find yourself, know your worth, never lose hope that you can cope in these challenging times of economic uncertainty. Never doubt that you are worthy. From the streets to the hospitals to the prison system to the rehabs and the infirmaries, I call you all the afflicted, the suffering, the misfits. Come, gather, heal together, create the storm. We control the weather when we stand together. Purple ones, whole ones, rise and evolve. And it's so funny. I'm wearing the sweater and the painting is behind me in the picture that I chose to put there. So y'all get the now y'all understand the symbolism when you get the book. You know why I chose to wear this and why I put that picture there because that is like even if the words weren't here, the picture says all of that. Art is supposed to mean something, and all of my art means something, whether it's my storytelling, my music, my clothing. Um, it's my cocoon when I have to hear fuck shit from people and people be coming at me with some one-sided, antiquated, crazy ass logic. I have my own because we all are delusional. Let's be clear. Humans love delusion. We all dance with delusion. For you to think that your genitalia defines who you are and base who you are based on what's between your legs, even though you know you spirit having a human experience, that's delusional. So even people who y'all love calling trans people delusional, but y'all delusional too. You've convinced yourself that you're a halfling. So we're all dancing in our own delusion. And this is why I created this Bible for me to navigate society and not get caught up in y'all dream. Cause I'm navigating y'all dream. Like I don't think I dreamed this. I think I fell asleep in somebody else's dream. And we're working towards trying to wake up from this dream and dream a dream that creates space for things that we've been suppressing, like intersex people, like androgynous people, like beings who are physically, mentally, and emotionally whole, like having these conversations and having the wherewithal to be able to navigate these conversations without being toxic. Like we could crack jokes and be funny, because I mean, I crack jokes too. I mean, I just finished talking about the booty hole whistling. So I think it's fun to, to have fun and to crack jokes. But I also think, we have to be willing to play the whole tape. And a lot of people, they call themselves, being a whistleblower or a truth teller or having integrity. But really, nigga, you playing a section of the tape. You ain't playing the whole tape. And that's my issue. That's my challenge with people like Cat Williams. That's my challenge with all of these people in the industry who choose to step forward and call themselves calling out somebody else. Play the whole tape. Talk about your fuck shit. Don't make yourself look like you so upstanding and uprighteous and like you don't have any. Like if you're trying to call somebody out, then call yourself in too. And that's what we do at Lay Lim Lay Lur. Like I'ma sit up and I will not feel away from holding you accountable or calling you in because I know at the end of the day I'm gonna be accountable about what I do. I'm gonna talk about me. I know how to put the camera on me and talk about some things I need to work on and some things I am working on. Like that was 3 hours of Cat bragging on himself and putting down other people. Where was that vulnerable moment in them whole 3 hours? It was very grandiose and self righteous. That's what it gave me. And for it to go viral like that, I was like, okay, so Donald Trump might get reelected because this is the energy that America is looking for. Pretty much. But anyway, that's all I got for this live. I wanted to say something else. I can't think of it right now. Probably gonna remember it when I hang up the line, when I finish the live. Um, Yeah, but anyway, down to the now that I say cool, it keeps spinning and turning. Iangani Iyanko Kalukalo, which means I am a child of God Goddess. And if I am, you know you are. Yeah, the church better get right. That's right. We do need to get it together. Like we gotta get our house in order. We gotta get everything together. Like, cause, and it's not what we think it's gonna look like. It's not this binary shit. It's just not. I'm not putting down the binary. If it worked for you, I'm happy. But clearly, you could see how it has oppressed a gender, and in oppressing that gender or that sex, it's it's literally oppressed even non-conforming people who refuse to conform. So like, there's a lot of beings who are suffering, because of this dynamic, and to not be honest about that and to not address that and to keep making it look like um, men got all the answers, men who subscribe to this binary, I ain't never been fucked down with dresses narrative are the answers to the world. No, y'all created this mess. And at this point, y'all just sitting up peacocking, blowing your horn while your booty hole whistling in private. Peacocking in front of the camera and whistling in private at this point. So we need some other people to come sit at the table. Not somebody who's so gay that y'all heterophobic. And not no group who hate yourself. Like we don't need the gay men who hate themselves, and we don't need the gay men who so gay that they think vagina is nasty and disgusting. Like we don't need y'all either. When we getting people to come sit at the table, we don't need you to be so gay that you think that vagina is disgusting.
And we also don't need you to be the type of gay that hates yourself because you are gay. Okay. So when we're interviewing people, even this in the trans community, we don't need you to be so trans that you hate cis people. We also don't need you to be the type of trans person that hates yourself because you're not cis. Sis, we don't need them kind of people at the table. And unfortunately, that's what we've been bringing to the table. We've been bringing anti non trans leadership to the table. Secretly, they don't like y'all. And we've also been bringing trans people to the table who hate themselves. And so they are not equipped to talk about transness as a diaspora, as it would look outside of the monolith that's been created by mainstream of us. They don't have the capacity and the verbiage to do that because really deep down inside, they so in love with the heterosexual patriarchal narrative, they haven't really investigated themselves. And so you have beings who are not equipped to have the conversations because either they hate themselves or they hate straight people, cis people. And this is the type of representation y'all always picking from the gay community and the trans community. And this is mimicking the cis heterosexual or the non-trans heterosexual community. This is mimicking them. Because a lot of them hate each other. A lot of them hate themselves because they're not Caucasian. We got some females who wish they was men. And so they subscribe to patriarchy. Because they love it. They just wish patriarchy had a pussy. They want to make a matriarchy with a they want to make a patriarchy with a pussy. So we got a lot of that going on. And so until we start getting balanced individuals, balanced minded human beings to come and have these talks and to communicate at that capacity, we're going to continue to see the same fuckery moving forward. We're going to continue to see the same distractions and have the same game run on us while they continue to sneak in court justices, Supreme Court justices that we don't agree with, and they continue to elect presidents that don't have nothing to do with who the people picked. Because we arguing about who wearing a skirt and get fucked in the ass. In the black community specifically. Meanwhile, white people, Caucasian people, telling stories about meeting other gay men online, murdering them at your house and burying them, and twin brothers falling in love and getting married and eating each other out and all this. Like, white people they so comfortable with all the fuckery. They talking about God is a faggot and God is love. These are the stories that white people tell you. Meanwhile, black people still over here shaming each other. You get fucked in your ass. I know what you doing. Master done fucked you. It's just ridiculous. We sit over here acting like little slaves up on the place. Child, Master done tore that cornhole up, boy. Master had his friends came over and they was gang banging him. Like little kids up on the plantation. Oh, you know Jethro. Jethro booty whistling. Let me stop. Let me get out this live. I love y'all. Thank you, Mada, for coming on and doing commentary with me. You know, we been joking. I got to go and do laundry. I thought this was going to be a quick live, child. I've been on here a minute. So remember to get this book.
I added the link in the bio for those of you who don't have it. It is Becoming Purple, my personal Bible of recollecting reflections. It's helping us get to our wholeness and our balance. A man, a woman. I love y'all. Thank y'all for joining me today to talk about Katt Williams. And like I said, the funniest people we haven't even met yet, like my mother, who in this comment section right now. My mother is funny as hell. Have you dying laughing and be serious as cancer? Have you died laughing like some of the people and bring you back to life and resuscitate you? Some of the funniest people we'll never meet because the world is not ready for it. Because, Mada is a whole one. Mada was born with a womb, but Mada acknowledges her wholeness. She acknowledged her masculine side and her female side. She acknowledged her man side and her woman side. And this is why she can make jokes about all of it because Mada is whole. You know what I'm saying? And Mada tells some jokes that have you falling on the floor laughing because Mada know how. Like Mada comfortable with being vulnerable. Mada talk about stuff that'll make you blush and it just be real. She always keep it raw. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I love about you. Like I said, some of the funniest people, we'll never meet them because the world not really ready for the conversation. A lot of these comedians is gatekeepers, and so we never really get to see that raw vulnerability that come from a person being whole in their spirit and being able to bring it like that without having to pretend and to try to put somebody else down or yuck somebody young because they don't have the courage to live in their complete truth. But when you get a person that you can't shame, you get a person that can walk in their truth unapologetically, unbothered, that's a powerful comedian. And those are the type of comedians that have the power to shift consciousness, to open us up and prepare us for the world that we actually want to live in. But as long as you getting checks to uphold these stereotypical tropes, the black man, black woman, long as you getting them checks to uphold that from the church, be these binary slaves, we ain't gonna realize that freedom. So that's why I'm gonna stay on my platform and I'm gonna continue to say the things that I say because baby, I ride the bitch for the new tribe, the whole ones that ain't got nothing to hide. We dark as the bottom of the sea, still connected to that water I just poured in my tea. They gonna show us how to thrive, problem solve and evolve, not a slave to the matrix, playing catfish with fake pics, running trains like a dirty flick, wasting time playing cheap tricks. I'ma look behind this curtain and see. Yeah, they coming. They coming, the old ones. Don't worry, baby. No, no, scratch that. They here. One of them on the live. I love y'all. Down but now that I say cool, it keeps spinning and turning. Iangani, Iyanko, Kalukalo, which means we are the children of God, Goddess. And if I am, you know you are. Love y'all.